Hey, it's Mrs. Moss. What am I always talking about? The church and post-abortion healing. And what else do I love talking about? Love talking about golf. Why do I talk about golf? Because golf is hard. I'm trying to challenge men to get some men's ministries going to post-abortive men. And I'm saying, hey, it's a great ministry. You can work at it. You can build up your skills. And it's a challenge, and you could love it once you get hooked on it, man. So start some men's ministries to post-abortive men because it's hard like golf. But you are guys and you like a challenge. One of the challenges of ministering to post-abortive people is you kind of got to keep things quiet because abortion is shameful and embarrassing. So let's say you got all these guys you need to get healed. You want to start something at your church, but you can't exactly just blab it all out there. Here's a good example. Here's something you'll probably never see during the announcements at church. Okay, it's time for announcements. Okay, well, we're going to get our post-abortion men's ministry going, and this week, Mr. Smith, he's still healing from this affair he had the first year in his marriage, which ended in abortion, and he's got nightmares, so we're going to be talking about that at the meeting. And then we're going to talk about Mr. Jones, who had an abortion when he was 17 and he's not over it yet, and it's causing troubles in his marriage currently. So we're going to talk about that. There's Mr. Jones sitting on the front row with all his little kids. And then later on, we're going to pray a lot for Mr. Allen, who let's see what's Mr. Allen's trouble. Mr. Allen, who's been so betrayed by women, he can't trust them, and he wants to get married, but he's not going to open his heart up to marry anybody again because all the women have betrayed him and treated him really bad, which included 5 abortions of all his former girlfriends. Well, that was extreme. These men need healing. They need their support group, but they can't blab it all out there. So, that's one of the things that make this ministry hard. So now back to the story. You want to use good boundaries with your story, and all this stuff coming about the story is pointing out exactly why this is a hard and messy ministry. Why is post-abortion healing a hard and messy ministry? Well, one reason is that it involves usually sexual sin is tied in with the story. And then on top of that, the enemy, who we were talking about his weapons. Remember how the enemy had this guy in the stew pot of shame and isolation? How this was one of his favorite weapons? Covering him up with his shame and secrecy. He can't tell his story to anybody. You can't see him. You can't see his wounds. You can't minister to him. How the secrecy of the enemy makes this ministry really hard. And on the flip side of the coin, I'm using this lamb to represent Jesus. Okay, so the enemy's got his little weapons keeping everything secret, so you can hardly even ask for help. The Lord, on the flip side of the coin, is such a gentleman. Your story, what I'm trying to say is, he doesn't expose sin. He's not ugly about it. And if you need to cover your story and keep it quiet, I believe the Lord is all about that. So in a healthy ministry that is going to welcome you and functions well, they're going to figure out how to minister to you past the enemy's plans for your story and honor the Lord, and that they're going to hold your boundaries and keep your confidences so that you don't have to be exposed. And that's hard to do. I need to take like 10 minutes out and just cry about that because it's hard. But back to why men like golf. The happy challenge of ministering to post-abortive people. Busting past their secrets so they can get healed, yet covering them with great dignity as the Lord would have you do, not exposing their sin to other people. The Lord can help you walk this unbelievable tightrope, and it can be done. And you guys, who I'm trying to talk to today, are like executives that love golf. You can do this ministry. It's a happy challenge, and you'll like it because it's so hard. It is hard to minister to post-abortive people, but it can be done, and it can be done with a spirit of excellence. God can show you a way to undermine all of his stuff that he throws out there. And some of the trickiest challenges are to minister to the people, pass the secrets, bring them to life, and do it all without with honoring their boundaries. Woohoo! They had a strategy for some church guys not that long ago. There were some men at the church and they wanted to do some ministry. They wanted to start a ministry. But they couldn't, they needed they were trying to protect their own stories, and they didn't feel free, any of them, to come out and tell their stories. So I said, well, why don't you get some kind of spokesman? And I could picture this guy at the church. He's like that happy guy that everybody likes, sort of an MC. I said, why don't you find that guy at your church? Because I know he exists. I can picture him at every church. Pay him $1, and then he, in a joking way, can be the paid spokesman for the post-abortion ministry. He can be the networker and take everybody's information and get it to the people that need to get it without exposing everybody in the church who's probably post-abortive. So I thought that was really smart. So if you get this paid spokesman and it's an open joke and your whole church can joke about, well, there's, our paid spokesman, Mr. Happy Guy, and you can slip him your phone number, tell him what you need, and he'll get the message to the guys that need to hear it. Because I believe it's just one more way that the enemy is stifling ministry. So you have to go around him. You have to be creative. You have to pray to God for a way to bust past all his stuff. So anyway, that was one pretty cool strategy I thought of for the paid spokesman.